9 days away from the Chiefs and Eagles going head-to-head in Super Bowl 59 down in New Orleans. Of course, we'll continue to get you ready for all of it here on NFL Live. And we've got both teams covered today. Michele Steele is with the Chiefs, Sal Paolantonio with the Eagles. We'll begin with you, Michele. Excuse me, Sal, we start with you. Tell us the latest there in Philadelphia.
Well, I had a chance to sit down and talk with Nick Sirianni one-on-one because I really wanted to gauge where this team was after winning the NFC Championship game, beating the Washington Commanders. And, just getting a sense of the ups and downs of this season. I was with them in Brazil. I was with them in Tampa when they lost. So I've seen it all. And I wanted to get a sense from him of where things are. And here's my Q&A with Nick Sirianni on the mood of this football team. Nick, what do you like about this team on the doorstep of going back to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I really like our togetherness, that we constantly think about team, the selflessness of being a teammate, the celebrations together, the time spent together, not wanting to let each other down. I think that, it's not the best groups of individuals that wins, it's the best teams that win. And our guys have done so much to come together as a team as the year has continued on.
They've had this intense period of self-scouting that they've done, especially where it concerns the Kansas City Chiefs, beating them last year on Monday Night Football, losing 2 years ago in Super Bowl 57. They've gone through that tape in detail, and Nick Sirianni has made detailed notes for every single player, what he wants to see differently. They've spent the week installing the game plan. They're out on the practice field coming off shortly, and they will have practice tomorrow before they leave for Louisiana on Sunday. Now for more on the Chiefs, here's my friend Michele Steele. Hi, Michele.
Hi, Sal Pal. Good stuff. Now, here in Kansas City, when you've been to the Super Bowl as many times as the Kansas City Chiefs have, the last 5 of the 6 Super Bowls that they've been in, of course, perhaps it's called Chiefs fatigue. Well, they are blocking out that noise this week. They are focused squarely on what Andy Reid likes to call their Super Bowl routine. You get to have a Super Bowl routine when you've been to the Super Bowl that many times. And that means treating this week as if they were playing on Sunday. A little bit like what Sal said, putting up the game plan earlier in the week, install midweek, and of course practicing. They are using the indoor facility this week. Of course, the Super Bowl will be played in New Orleans inside. One big positive from practice is that everybody practiced. They only had 2 players who were limited on Thursday. Wide receiver Sky Moore, who they activated from IR. Unlikely he plays in the Super Bowl, but certainly something that the Eagles will have to account for, as well as right tackle Jawan Taylor. He was limited as well. If I had 2 words, Laura, to describe the overall energy and the overall vibe of this Kansas City Chiefs team, I would say, just from being around them this week, amped up. They're ready to get to New Orleans. Laura.
I love it, Michele. I think we all are, right? We're ready to go. All right, how about this? With the rematch of Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts, it'll be the 4th quarterback rematch in the Super Bowl alongside Eli Manning, Tom Brady, Troy Aikman, Jim Kelly, and Terry Bradshaw, Roger Staubach. In each of the previous 3 instances, the same quarterback won both times. With Mahomes seeking his 4th Super Bowl win, he's looking to join Tom Brady and Joe Montana as the only players in NFL history to win 4 championships and 2 league MVPs during his NFL career. Let's get some quick reads to start the show. Mina, give me one thing you can't wait to get into with this group as we lead up to the game.
Yeah, this Super Bowl is the RPO Bowl. These 2 offenses use RPOs at the highest rate in football. They do it very well. They do it to dictate to defenses and also get a read on those defenses. How those defenses handle the run-pass option will go a long way towards determining whether they have success stopping these quarterbacks.
MK, I love that you brought up the RPO because I want to see how they are going to deploy Justin Reed. Will he be an inline box tackler? Will he be a guy that has the disguise and try to get over the top of A.J. Brown? You think about this defense and how Steve Spagnuolo also likes to bring pressure. Will he be a guy that they bring when he wants to bring extra guys? Very conventional, but I think he's a key cog to this Kansas City defense dealing with the Philadelphia Eagles offense.
Well, since Mina took my initial thought, I'll go with this one. I want to see how the Philadelphia Eagles will match the stacks and bunches, the meshes, the rub routes of the Kansas City Chiefs. They did such a good job against the Buffalo Bills, and we know they were attacked that way against the Washington Commanders. And the way that the Philadelphia Eagles can hold up on the back end, especially in the second level, will be huge.
Yeah, for me, this is the ultimate X's and O's versus execution game. Kansas City offensively 7th most when it comes to pre-snap motion. The Eagles 27th most. Flip it to the defensive side of the ball. Kansas City 4th most pressures and blitzes defensively. Philadelphia the 4th least pressures and blitzes defensively. And in the fourth quarter, no team blitzes more than Kansas City. And then Philadelphia defensively, when teams motion, they have the #1 defense versus QBR and the #1 defense versus yards per play. X's and O's versus the execution is going to determine this game.
We're going to do a Super Bowl edition. I give you the stat. You tell me if the trend continues next week. Jalen Hurts has been impressive versus the blitz this season. He is the 2nd highest QBR while having the 3rd lowest off-target percentage. He's also thrown 11 touchdowns to just 1 interception. The Chiefs held Josh Allen to just 42 pass yards when sending the blitz last week. Mina, can Hurts continue to thrive when blitzed against Kansas City?
This is going to be a key question determining the game, and I think he is going to put up worse numbers than the ones he has over the course of the season because there are different types of blitzes, and Hurts has been very good against man blitzes, less so against zone pressures, which the Chiefs excel in. In fact, when Steve Spagnuolo calls zone blitzes, they get the highest pressure rate in the entire NFL. That is something to be concerned about and something the Eagles have to address ahead of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The Eagles' pass rush has been ruthless this postseason. Each of the top 3 leaders in pass rush wins this postseason are on the Eagles, with Milton Williams leading the way. Josh Sweat is tied for 4th. Nolan Smith Jr., we've talked about how great he's been. He leads the NFL in sacks with 4. Marcus, does the trend continue on the biggest stage?
It's got to continue, and something that I'm hoping to put together for the Super Bowl. There's a trend that's been happening in these Super Bowl runs with teams. Dominant 3 techniques. And you can, even the team that squeaked in there in LA with Aaron Donald, you think about the plays that they have to make in critical moments. Chris Jones has been highlighted because they've been in every damn Super Bowl, feel like, for the last 10 years. But ultimately, Jalen Carter is going to have to be Jalen Carter. And that's the thing that I hope his coaches get across to him. You don't need to do anything extra. This is the Super Bowl. You're going to be hyped. You're going to be excited. The way you've been playing all season long is good enough to help us try to capture a Super Bowl.
Patrick Mahomes has 172 rush yards in his Super Bowl career, the most all-time by a quarterback. 158 of those yards came when he was scrambling. In last year's game, he had 66 rush yards, the 2nd most by a quarterback in a Super Bowl, only behind Jalen Hurts' 70 yards in Super Bowl 57. Dan, does Mahomes continue to use his legs in this year's Super Bowl?
100%. The thing is, it's just a little different right now with Patrick Mahomes. So often we think about it in those high leverage plays, those 3rd and 4th downs, the back-breaking moments. It's actually been a little bit reversed in that AFC Championship game. Early downs, he was trying to use his legs to allow that offense to be efficient, defenders turning their backs and running away. I would fully expect against this zone match defense that Philadelphia plays and how dominant they are defensively, that on early downs, to allow the efficiency of their offense to stay ahead of the chains and not allow guys like Carter to get in those pass rush situations, Patrick will be aggressive with his legs.
The Eagles' secondary has been elite this season. Philly is allowing just 6.1 yards per attempt to opposing quarterbacks, the fewest in the NFL and their fewest allowed since 2001. They also have the most batted passes in the NFL, ranked 3rd in interceptions and completion percentage allowed. RC, will Philly's secondary continue to have success versus Mahomes?
I think they'll have success, but it's about having success in the critical football moments. I mean, there are teams that can make it difficult for the Kansas City Chiefs to shine or score throughout the game, but what are you going to do in 2 minutes? What are you going to do coming out of halftime? And more importantly, what are you going to do in the fourth quarter? 3rd down will be huge for this team. We've watched them keep the top on the defense the entire year, but when Patrick Mahomes scrambles and uses his legs, will they be able to plaster in the right way during a scramble drill?
It's just such a fascinating matchup in so many different ways. We're getting close to the game, but we'll dive into all of this and even more detail next week.